And we're live. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Holy Crap, the Vlogcast. Vlogcast that comes from a skeptical point of view to answer some of the questions of why. This Vlogcast started as a combination of spite and the Streisand effect to answer, well, the burning question of where the hell were we last week? Yeah, about that. Yeah. We kind of took a week off. It just had to be that way. Don't worry, we're going to make up for it. Promise. For those of you that remember Bill Shatner's commercials, you're welcome. Part of this is to follow through with the old adage, sometimes the journey is more important than the destination, in which case this would be to Toronto, and not, but that's a whole other thing for later. I'm your main host. I'm known as Shujin all over the place. You can find me pretty much everywhere under that name, Shujin, for those of you that are watching. Yes, I've got my glasses on to see some of the close-up stuff. There's a reason. I'll explain momentarily. Don't worry about it. Let me go ahead and introduce you to who we've got at the moment. As usual, top left-hand corner of the bingo card. Good evening, Dalan.
Good evening.
Just north of me, over into Toronto. Well, outside of Toronto. I'm sorry. I'm so used to it because I spent the weekend.
I know you were in Toronto all weekend. I know. It's called Kitchener, and we're nowhere. Well, we're an hour away from Toronto.
Yeah, but it's relatively close.
It's close, but if you tell somebody from Toronto that Kitchener's in Toronto, they will slap you.
Yeah, it's kind of the same thing. Long Island is part of New York City. It's connected to. They don't like that.
We are not part of the GTA. Sorry.
No, you're not.
Wait a minute, they'll slap you. I thought Canadians are supposed to be polite.
Have you seen the Canada Goose? Do you not know? Seriously.
Oh, those bastards will take your leg off.
Straight away, one nibble at a time. From the Midwest of the U.S., good evening, Brigid.
Good evening.
And from south of me over into Pittsburgh, good morning, Joey.
Good morning.
Good to have you. So real quick, UnrenownedTech was having a connection issue with audio. Don't quite know what's going on, but he did say that he's going to basically watch and maybe we'll see what's going on.
He's already in the chat, so
well, I didn't get the chance to look over there yet. Thank you. And as far as Joseph is concerned, considering that now we are broadcasting at 04:05 UTC, I don't know what that does for him because I don't know what happens with daylight savings and all that shit.
He's also in the final push to get his kitchen done.
That too.
And I think he's kind of in, I don't want to stop until my kitchen is done.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's understandable.
Absolutely. So if you're watching after the fact, Joseph, just stay safe, man. That's all we care about. Don't worry about it. For those of you that are paying attention to us live, first off, thank you. And of course, you can take advantage of the live chat feature. I keep wanting to say Q&A. I got so used to that over the first couple of years, man. I got to remind myself. But thank you to Stephanie, UnrenownedTech, Felis. Hi, guys. And we'll have ourselves a good night. Heretic Woman, don't do this to me. You know how this is. So I came back from real quick.
You missed Stephanie.
I did not. I said Stephanie.
Okay.
She was the first one. She's the first one on the list. Yeah, whatever. So real quickly, like I said, we had a good weekend up in Toronto, the little one and I. We were up there for Vernal Equinox, as is the usual. Last year, fortunately, Heretic Woman and Dalan were both available. So Heretic Woman, I think you ran it last... No, Dalan, you ran it last year.
I ran it last year, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
This particular year, while I was up at the FurCon, Heretic Woman was a little bit busy on our side of the border.
Yes.
And you were
down in Nashville for NanoCon.
And you, of course, had yourself a good time.
Oh, yes, indeedy, I did.
Yep. Dalan had stuff that might have been going on, and when we discussed it, it was like, you know what? If we're not sure, let's just do it the easy way and we'll just make it a buy. You're under no pressure because, I mean, truth be told, the last thing I want to do is for him to have something pop up that might or might not, and then all of a sudden, oh yeah, you know what? Shit, I gotta do this thing, but I don't want to because this isn't something that happens often. So I didn't want to put you under that. It really wasn't worth it.
It's appreciated.
No, I mean, you shit, you do enough as it is. So, let me really quickly explain to you folks. There are certain products that we can get on our side of the border that they can't get over in Canada, and vice versa. And vice versa. Well, I did not spend a lot of money at the con because I was busy helping out. However, I did come up with a couple of things I wanted to show because first, something that I was mispronouncing as tofifi.
Oh God!
Is that like kafeve?
That's exactly what I was calling it.
Honestly, I'll tell you. Like he mentioned this last night on the show at TFC.
Yeah.
And all of us are just like, what in the name of all that's whatever?
What is a tofifi?
Yeah, well, yeah, like, and of course, right away, I went to Kovefe too, and I was like, okay, is this like Trump tofu or something like that? And furthermore, why would you go into that? But then he starts to describe it.
And you're like,
wait a minute, that's toffee fay. And he's like,
Faye.
yeah, and honest to God, I think we spent probably like 15, 20 minutes debating.
Yes.
What those, and then finally, I had to remind you, Shujin, of the commercials that they used to play.
Yes.
Way back in the day.
Now, to be fair, as soon as he said that, okay, as soon as he said that, it struck in my head, and it was like, holy shit! I have not thought about that in literally 40 years. So as soon as he said that, it came to me, and that's when it dawned on me. Wait a minute. This is spelled differently from what I grew up with. No wonder I'm looking at this 40 years after the fact and going, the hell is this? I know what this is, but I can't remember how to pronounce it. And I'm thinking maybe this is the French version that's printed up. I don't know. But,
Did you know that you can get the Toffee Faye commercial from 1978 on YouTube?
I didn't until now. We don't have time. We don't have time.
Well, I'm about to blow everybody's minds here again. Okay, so I mentioned off the air that I went to the theater today to go see Black Panther because, well, I got to get caught up on my MCU movies.
Yeah.
Hey, Infinity War is around the corner. I got to make sure that everything's there. And I honestly, I think tomorrow, if I get the chance, I'm going to drive by the theater again because they've got this humongous poster on the outside for Deadpool 2. And it is Deadpool reenacting a scene from Flashdance.
Oh, Lordy.
Yeah, he's like on his back, arched up on the chair, and instead of water falling on him, it's bullet casings.
Oh, hell.
Yeah. But beside that, so I get into the theater, sit down, getting ready, and the pre-show comes on because they got to advertise to you somehow. Although to their credit, almost everything they showed was movie centric, so it wasn't so bad. But Cineplex, the Canadian version of AMC, let's just put it that way, they are about to run in April. They're going to be running a show on select theaters to celebrate the 40th anniversary of the movie Grease.
Oh, goodness.
Oh.
No, but it wasn't so much that. It was the fact that it was 40 years ago.
Yeah.
I know.
And I saw that at the drive-in.
I did not see it. In fact, I've never seen it, and I never will see it.
Well,
no, you don't understand. I had a roommate in university that used to sing it in the hallway nonstop.
That's good enough reason, right?
I fully understand.
I will never, ever, ever watch that.
Yeah. So, so like I said, I brought back a whole bunch of stuff. So I'm going to show for the American audience some of the things that if you ever go over the border, you too can actually acquire. Toffee Faye, of course, you may be able to find on our side, but it's a little dicey. Kit Kat.
Yum.
Caramel burst and sea salt. Espresso biscuit and ganache. Mint cream and cookie smash.
Yeah,
the
that'd
one
be yum.
that I am going through right now, tiramisu. Yes.
That was the one that I didn't see when I was out today.
Yes.
So somebody's probably gonna put a request in for some of that, isn't she?
Probably so.
Can't imagine why. And only because
That will be some goods.
yeah, only because I had also tweeted a picture of the shopping cart full of the stuff that we got, and President's Choice brand answered it, even though I had not tweeted at them. I had tweeted at the store.
But
So-
but Great Canadian Superstore, President's Choice is a subsidiary brand of theirs.
I know. So just because poutine flavored chips,
Ah, yes.
Mm,
maple bacon flavored
Bacon.
chips,
those are good.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
sriracha flavored chips.
Yeah, kiss your taste buds goodbye there, buddy.
Yeah.
Smoked
Smoking
stampede.
stampede.
Oh, I've done that one too.
These are good. And only because we didn't have any left because we left, on Friday, and I didn't want to leave anything, in the house that might go bad. I picked up a bag of, where is it? It's over on this side.
I
There it
was
is.
gonna say all I see is homo milk.
3.25% homo milk in 3 bags worth. Yes, milk comes in bags in Canada.
Yes.
I wanted to get it only because, actually partly because of the novelty, but partly because we were going to need milk. And I found out I actually like 3.25%.
It's good
milk.
stuff.
It is good.
So do you have one of the special milk pitchers now?
No. However, I do have a round plastic one that was usually for just regular drinks, and
Okay.
it just fits. So it
Okay.
works out perfect.
Because we have specialized ones for the bags.
I will have to look for that.
You
And it was
can
like I was-
you can usually get them at the dollar store now.
And it was like I was telling Shujin that I think the milk in a bag thing is an Ontario thing. 'Cause I have not seen it out here.
Okay, if you haven't seen, maybe it's an Eastern thing.
Yeah, because I never grew up with it either, and I grew up in Manitoba, which is like Ontario's next door neighbor.
The milk I grew up with came out of a cow that went through a cooler and a bucket. Well, yeah.
Okay, I had
We
a
had
couple of more degrees of separation there, but ultimately
No,
it was a carton.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I grew up on a dairy farm, so I saw the milk come out of the cow. It went through a strainer. It got chilled overnight, and then Grandma collected it in a bucket in the morning. That's where milk came from.
I'm gonna get in such shit for this one. You're doing fine, Manitoba, Manitoba, Motoboba, Manitoba. Eh?
And
Eh?
you completely spelled it wrong.
I don't.
I was gonna say, I'm like,
It's-
I don't
it's
think
kind of
there's
the
that
point.
many
There's an extra-
O's in it.
I don't care.
Oh, be in there.
I don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah, about the only amount of O's that are in there from that statement was just like, oh.
Dude, can you spell Irondequoit without looking it up? Skijaquita, perhaps.
Tonawanda,
You don't. You piss me off.
Pocket the wagon.
Lackawanna.
Weehawken. Yeah. Let's.
So-
Anyway,
Shawinigan.
Yeah, Sheboygan.
Sheboygan, yeah.
No, it's spelled Shaboogamoo. Okay, let's look at it. It's spelled Shaboogamoo.
Actually, I
Tell
heard,
me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong.
I heard the word Poughkeepsie once. When I saw how it's spelled, I kind of went, what the hell?
Native Americans, man. Native North Americans. That's what you get.
Oh,
But
we drove by the exit for Puxatawny.
and please tell me that you're proud that you continued past it.
I don't know anything about Puxatawny other than it has a groundhog. So.
Yeah, 2 words. Bill Murray.
Okay.
There you go. We'll just go with that.
So a couple of things that I brought. Well, I already ate the Krispy Kreme, so there's that. But I brought eight cases of this fine stuff home.
Cherry Zero Coca-Cola for those of you
Yep.
that are listening after the fact, because you know that makes for great radio right there, hon.
I was getting to it. Jeez.
Oh shit!
I'm gonna have to get Beth to get me more of these because I am absolutely in love with them. Cheetos brand crackers and cheese.
Oh yeah, I've seen those.
They are like, oh, and we took Beth to a grocery store before we left, and I picked up. There's like a whole box of these, and this is like my last package of them, and I'm like, yeah, I need more. So,
and speaking of Cheetos, that was the experiment that I alluded to earlier today. I get into a conversation with some guys at work on Friday about somebody brought in cheddar and jalapeno flavored Cheetos with dip as a snack
With
for
dip.
everybody. Yeah, and it was jalapeno cheese dip too, so it was kind of like, a double hit for your taste buds, your stomach, and what comes afterwards.
yeah.
I love jalapeno Cheetos.
Yeah, but conversation kind of went around a little bit, and somebody said something about cooking chicken, and somebody said, "Hey, yeah, you can use Cheetos for that." And the guy's like, "No, you can't do that." And then I said, "What? You've never made a bread coating out of Doritos before?" I said, "That's awesome." So he's still kind of skeptical or whatever. So I go on the net and I find a Cheetos baked chicken recipe.
Uh-huh.
And it looked so good. I decided, you know what? I'm going to try that. And I tried it tonight and it was delicious.
Awesome.
Basically, you just take the Cheetos, crunch them up. I finally had justification for buying a rolling pin today. Yeah. So you get Cheetos, throw some Parmesan cheese in there, mix it all up. Take your chicken breast, put some flour on it, dip it in a little bit of egg, and then basically shake and bake it in the Cheetos mix. I mean, get a nice thick coating on there and bake it. And and it's not overly salty. It's not overly spicy. It's actually just good.
See, you're lucky that you tried that out, because when I was a kid, my mom did something similar, only she smashed up Frosted Flakes.
Ew.
Why?
Okay, you know what? Somebody did that once with
Oh, it might work with bran flakes.
well, this was at the Stampede, and they did that with I think they had like
Or just corn flakes.
yeah.
Oh,
Well,
it was Frosted Flakes.
It-
first.
Yeah.
the frosted part would be.
It's just wrong.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
okay. These people at Stampede, apparently they did like it was chicken on a stick, wrapped or coated with Frosted Flakes. And from what the guy was telling me, he said it tasted not bad, but they had some kind of sauce inside of the batter that was just shit.
Mm.
So that it wasn't the Frosted Flakes that killed it. It was the other thing.
Oh, and I found while we were the biggest bag of bugles I have ever seen in my life.
Oh yeah, American Walmarts are fun. I usually go when I go on site. I go there for two things. I go for they have this drink powder. It's called Propel.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like an electrolyte type thing. Everybody at work is nuts over this stuff, so we actually keep a supply going. And the rule is, if you go on site, if you're going on site to a place that has a Walmart, if you can stop by and pick up a couple of boxes,
Right.
and then also the Mio syrups, the little squirty bottles.
Yeah.
Okay, up here you've got 5 or 6 different flavors. Down there, they've got a freaking rainbow of stuff. Plus, they have an energy drink type.
Right.
So it's like, liquid Gatorade or whatever. But the one I always go after is the sweet tea.
Ugh.
No, it just it honestly it tastes if you mix it right, it tastes like Nestea iced tea.
Okay.
Good.
Oh, and one other thing I found too that I've never seen here. In fact, this is the first time I've ever seen it. I got 100 SPF sunscreen.
So you're ready.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
When you're chilling on the beach on Venus.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually,
the biggest I ever saw was when I was in Mexico, and I think I got 85 SPF. So this
when you want to keep that pasty white look.
Oh yeah.
Well,
I only have 3 choices: pasty white, spotted, or lobster. I prefer the pasty white. Thanks.
Fair enough. It's really bad that when you end up vacationing.
I was outside off and on the Saturday and for about 3 hours on Sunday afternoon, and I got a sunburn.
Jeez.
Yeah, Brigid, you're a medical expert. How many proven cases of spontaneous human combustion has there actually been?
I would have to Google it, but it does actually happen.
It does.
It's a thing.
Okay, when we have a medical professional say that it actually does happen,
I've seen pictures.
This is bad.
It does happen.
I was kidding. Damn.
No,
I gotta look this up now. Damn it.
It really does happen. There are theories, but they aren't 100% sure why.
Yeah.
Oh, now that we're kind of moving into science versus whatever. No. I got a bit of an update here. Now, the past couple of weeks, I have mentioned a pseudoscience fighter named Jeff Holiday a few times. And he was doing a series called a Song of Salt and Poo, going after this Jilly Juice person.
Okay.
Well, somebody got wind of it, and Mr. Holiday took a trip to Hollywood recently to be on Dr. Phil.
Oh.
Wait for it. To face-to-face meet this Jillian person.
Ooh.
No filters.
What happened?
It hasn't aired yet, but I watched a live stream with Jeff earlier today while he was finishing uploading his final installment of the show. And from what he said, it actually went well. He was not marginalized. He was not kowtowed to. Like, I mean, this lady's magic formula has killed somebody and damn near killed somebody else.
Yeah.
Basically, if you drink this stuff to the amount that she tells you to, it dehydrates you and can possibly give you sodium poisoning.
Oh, lovely.
That's bad.
A person who's suffering of cancer, I don't have his name off the top of my head. This was a last ditch effort for him to try to get rid of it because apparently, according to Jillian, this stuff can cure cancer, cure AIDS, cure the gay. It'll cure the gay. It'll regrow limbs. It'll regrow organs. So like part of me is thinking, okay, you know what? So fermented cabbage and salt water, could that help me regrow my spleen? I wonder.
Isn't that like halfway to kimchi?
I don't know, but there's no noodles involved with this.
No,
kimchi
is fermented cabbage.
Oh, okay.
But it just has a shit ton of garlic in it.
Yeah. No, this is supposed to be some kind of miracle cure, and she's like full on conspiracy theorist, everything. I've talked about her before on the show, but
yeah.
Jeff, who's now done a 3-part video series on this individual, got the chance to meet her face to face on Dr. Phil's show. And while there's not a lot he could really say because of the NDA, he was able to let a few things slip about what he actually said to her. And he did flat out accuse her of killing people on the show. I don't have cable. I can't wait till this thing airs because I know somebody's going to pirate it.
Oftentimes those things do pop up on YouTube.
Yeah, I don't know how tight a hold they're going to have on this one. But I'm watching Jeff's Twitter. I'm watching his channel on YouTube. The second this drops, I'm going to go looking for it because Jeff has been he started off doing a lot of political based sort of takedowns and stuff like that. The typical shit posting stuff that you see on some channels. But he's now shifted focus completely. He's got pseudoscience like in his crosshairs. And given the fact that that is a mutual pet peeve of everybody on this show, I'd say we got something in common with him. So, you know, if I'm watching something of his and something pops up that might be of relevance to this show, I might bring it up. He's also in the middle of doing an expose on anti-vaxxers right now.
Oh, cool.
And we just love anti-vaxxers here, don't we?
Yes,
Oh, boy.
we do. Real quickly before we actually start the show, eventually.
Sorry.
You do that, but before we start the show too, I found a Toffee Faye commercial that's 30 seconds long that you will die laughing at.
I'll get to it later. But UnrenownedTech, hi, thanks, man.
Welcome back.
Had gone ahead and said, can it cure horse shit? Dalan, you're the resident expert on this. Can that stuff cure horse shit? I'm pretty sure I know, but I don't know.
Tech. I'm not sure if it can cure horse shit, but it can sure as hell give you the symptoms. Considering after drinking a little bit of this stuff, everything that's inside your colon ends up exploding out of your asshole.
Hey.
Like she calls it waterfall.
She's not incorrect.
Yeah, but to quote Stanley, "Nuff said."
Good point. Yeah, and by the way, on top of everything else, Stan, we're hoping that you're doing okay, man.
Yeah,
we're hoping that you're doing okay. Anyway, yeah, it's been long enough. We should really actually start the show for real. After all this stuff, and this, believe it or not, what we just kind of went through is actually going to kind of play into the actual part of the show anyway. So this works out just fine. So let me go ahead and get you guys rolling over here. And where's my timer? There's my timer. So let me go ahead and do this one. Your 5-minute freestyle. Where are my notes? There they are. Starts right now. 5 minutes on Voices Carry. Some people, of course, as usual, know full well my affinity for the 80s music. And Voices Carry is a song from Till Tuesday. You remember it as soon as you heard it. I think it was 1983. I could be wrong. I didn't look it up. Anyway. I did not ask permission to talk about Person and something that they had posted recently, but I'm going to mention about it. I am also one of those people who had to deal with the feeling of, well, it's something that's actually a legit thing. That's called impersonators syndrome, if I remember correctly, if that's exactly what the term is. It's the idea that you've got this nagging voice in the back of your head that's telling you that, you know, sooner or later, everybody's going to find out that you're really not as good at things as you thought that you were. And you're just putting on airs and you're putting on a good show for everybody, but you're really not that good a person at whatever the hell it is that you're doing. And I, a while ago, had put out a video and had basically said that, you know, I keep trying to do what I'm doing and I don't feel like I'm really doing anything that's special. And somebody ended up commenting and telling me, you're talking about imposter syndrome, I think is what it is. Again, forgive me. I didn't look it up directly. I don't like to do notes for these kinds of things, basically because I need the push like this. But a buddy of mine had the same thing happening to him. I didn't know about it. And this is one of those people that I got the chance to see at Fernal Equinox in Toronto. And he had posted up that at the end of it all, he doesn't go for the panels and the discussions nearly as much as for touching base with family of choice. Myself, Tiny Tribble, a couple of people that operate at the con, a couple of people that attend the con, you know, and that he doesn't have that voice now. We sat in the bar after everything was done with the head of security, who I talked about on the Friday night show, and I got away with bloody murder for good cause. But he was saying that after all that, and he got home and he wrote up the little thing about, how great it was to touch base with everybody. He doesn't have that voice anymore. Or at the very least, it's gone quiet. I understand if you've got that voice going on in you. When it was finally pointed out to me after that one video that I had done that, that's what it sounded like was happening with me, and I read up on it, it brought so many different things into absolute clarity for me. And I realized this is what's been going on in me. And believe it or not, this is one of those few times where I can say, once I knew what was going on, it kind of started to go away for me, just on its own, because I was able to recognize it for what it was. It's not that I'm really not that good at whatever it is. It's that I've been listening to that little doubt in the back of my own head too much, and I have not been paying nearly enough attention to the people who see what I do, who can tell me what it is that I'm doing, and can let me know what they see. Because what they see is a hell of a lot different from what I do. So if you're not sure, if you think that maybe you're not good enough, because you keep thinking you're not, for whatever reason, listen to what the people outside of your head are saying. Listen to them first and foremost. Let them guide you, because they will be a much better judge. And the ones who are the best people around you are the ones that are going to be honest, even if it hurts a little bit. Those are the people you want around you. Because, let's face it, if you're honest all the time, you don't have to worry so much about what lie did you make the last time and try to keep track of them all. It's episode 204 on the docket, Your Honor. Ex-cons, because I was off at a convention. Heretic Woman was off at a convention. There are a lot of them that have been going on in a lot of different circles. The artistic community, the skeptical community, the atheist community. And let's face it, every week there's at least one gathering of people in any particular religious circle. So we've talked about this a little bit before, but I want to kind of talk about the social aspect of getting together in groups, because it's something that we don't necessarily think about as being important, but we're social animals. It really is kind of important. So before we do that, Heretic Woman, the last information I had on Rafe Badawi was about his wife, that she's basically on the warpath and making a lot of yelling and screaming again to basically tell the government, get off your ass, get my husband out.
Yeah, Beth had sent me an article earlier this week, but it was basically her pushing the government to do something and talking about those rumors that we'd heard earlier that he might get put on some list for pardon, but really there wasn't anything new in it. It was just sort of a, hey, don't forget that this is going on kind of article.
Yeah, unfortunately, rehashing the same article that we had for, what is it now, 4 or 5 months, really?
Yeah, at least.
Yeah. So, unfortunately, as we've said, directly on Rafe's part, no real new news. But that means that as of the recording of tonight's show, and yes, I actually had to do a little bit of math, as of the recording of tonight, it is now 5 years, 9 months, 8 days since Rafe Badawi was unjustly incarcerated for thought crime. Our hopes, our thoughts are still with you and your family. We're still waiting and we're still hoping. And that feels kind of that feels a little bit odd. because, well, for those of you that were paying attention, like I said, I've got my glasses on tonight, and usually the only reason why I put them on is if my contact lenses are a little on the dry side or my eyes are a little bit tired. So I have a little bit more trouble focusing for the screen. I mean, when I'm talking to you guys, obviously I'm talking straight into the camera, so it doesn't matter what I'm focusing on. I mean, so long as I'm looking right at you, I'm looking at you right there. I'm sorry, just screwed up some people that are watching live right now. It doesn't much matter. But earlier today, there was a march in many cities, protests from students and their parents, their friends, their loved ones about, well, it's basically fallout from all the stuff that has been happening with school shootings from Florida, and to basically make their voices heard. Because, well, kids, teenagers, they're not going to do any of this stuff on a weekend when they could be doing anything else, like playing violent video games. And, well, yeah, hold my gift card,
Yeah.
So in Buffalo, there were a lot of us. I took a lot of pictures with my good camera. I did get some video. It was both disheartening to see that this has to happen. It was gratifying to see how many students were there, high school and even younger. And it was annoying that somebody who was a Planned Parenthood type protester decided that this was where they were going to go ahead and have their sign and try to talk to people. And they tried to talk to Tiny Tribble, and I was not having that. You can well imagine. I was not having that.
Yeah.
But I was nice about it, and I basically said, look, this is not your place. This is not your venue. Please just go home and go get warm.
Yeah. I was watching another YouTuber who had attended one of the protests in one of the other cities. A guy by the name of Tim Pool. And that was one thing he mentioned, that yes, this was a march for a particular reason. There was a reason behind it. But it seemed that everybody else that had some kind of cause wanted to piggyback onto this. They wanted to latch on in hope that with the number of people that were there, that they could extend the reach of their own particular agenda.
Yeah.
And you can't really stop that unless you have some way of monitoring, are you here for this or are you here for that? But even then, that's not something you can do. Honestly, I think the best you can do, the best thing you can do when something like that happens is, well, kind of like what you did, Shujin. Just if they approach you or if they approach someone just step in, tell them to back off, that this is not their show, and maybe warn people that there happens to be a so-called fox in the henhouse, if you will.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, because I'd forgotten to make mention about it, I have made a commitment for the next 6 weeks. I found a 6-pack of Angry Orchard hard cider crisp apple.
Good man.
This was what was suggested. I have not sampled it yet. I have basically, since I wasn't able to find a single can or bottle, I got a 6-pack. I could have gotten a 6-pack of the Irish glass mug pub stuff.
Guinness?
The hell is it? Guinness. There it is. Thank you.
Oh, Guinness.
I could have gotten that in glass or in cans as a 6-pack, but then I thought, yeah, I want to try that as a single. I could have gotten Jenny Cream Ale as a single. I could have gotten a whole bunch of different ones that were why? Some people would remember this one. I could have gotten Pabst Blue Ribbon on my that's still sold, believe it or not.
Oh yeah, they're well, I mean,
well,
let's face it.
The shit show in Milwaukee was held in the Pabst Theater.
Ooh,
which was owned by them.
I just popped the top, and I could smell it already.
Yep.
And this is one of those times where I can't say it's beer because I could.
Oh, no,
I smell
it's
apple.
not beer. That stuff is going to be a
cider.
slap in the face to your taste buds.
So I guess we will see. So there's ghosts later. Ghosts baggage. Anyway, so how do they say it in Japan? L'chaim. Well, now that is not beer.
No,
No, definitely not.
Explore the Orchard, Walden, New York. No shit.
Yeah.
Oh, in the Hudson Valley. Oh, okay. Sorry. I thought that this might have been a little bit more local. Ooh. But this is a New York thing. I think I may have chose well. Okay. So anyway, as far as the overall topic, the idea of going to conventions well, all right, let's back it a little bit further than that. Going to social gatherings. It doesn't matter what you want to call it. It could be a convention. It could be going to church. It could be secular Sundays at Center for Inquiry. But it could be what do they call those? The
meetup.
The fake church gathering.
Sunday assembly.
That's what it is. So, we don't really talk as much about the social aspect as what we could, probably even what we should, because it's we kind of gloss over it because it's who really wants to take the time out sometimes, but we really should, because without the social aspect, what the hell is the point of actually trying to talk with everybody and help them get through, especially with how many groups there are that are very highly marginalized. And it's not just any one group that you might be thinking of. There's a bunch out there. The atheists, for one, here in the United States are considered lower on the totem pole than used car salesmen. Let's see. You could be dealing with people who have melanin-enhanced epidermis, because there's stuff about that. There could be a thing about age. There could be a thing about intelligence levels or chromosome number counts or whatever the hell else. But the point of it is, getting together in a social aspect is something that we as humans need from time to time. Yes, there are a lot of people for whom it's not even a thing or don't want to be. But by and large, we humans are social animals. And we kind of need to have that kind of interaction once in a while. And even if it's just this digital wavefront this way, you guys are with us right now. So I'll start off just by saying thank you for, being with us. And if you're drinking too, just not a liter of wine again. That was, oh God, that was so bad. That was so wrong. Anyway, so let's see. Let's start off with a fun one. Brigid this past week had the opportunity of going to a social engagement of sorts and had a great old time.
Yeah.
Because I made a joke before we got on the air, and I want to say it again, but I really shouldn't. Oh God, I'm not going to say it again. But
you can. I don't.
It's okay. She had a lot of time on her hands. She went off to see a number of musical groups, including
Don Felder, which I was not too crazy about. Saw Styx. They were really, really good in REO Speedwagon. And I'm like, when the hell did we all get so old? But yeah.
Styx.
Had a great, yeah, I went to go see Styx and got a fist bump from Tommy Shaw. Had a great time and was close enough to smell the sweat. But that was my Christmas present.
Whoa. Oh man.
Yummy rocker sweat.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
but when you think about it, how many people do we know that could actually say that they were in that kind of situation?
Yeah.
You know,
Well, it's like last summer when I got to see Glass Tiger, and I took a selfie with Alan Frew, which in 1986 I would have killed for. And it was pretty dang cool now. You know, but I had to wait 30 years to get it.
Yeah, I mean,
But
exactly.
it was still a lot of fun.
This was on my bucket list, you know, since aging myself here, 1979. But yeah, I got to go backstage the whole deal, and it was really,
nice.
you know, it was really cool, once in a lifetime thing.
I had a friend
awesome.
I had a friend who went to a Motley Crue concert when they were in high school, and Vince Neil flipped a bottle cap right at him, and he caught it.
Oh my goodness!
And like the last Kiss concert I went to, I was a little disappointed because part of the act was Paul Stanley got on this, like it was a cherry picker, and he went out to a stage that was in the middle of the floor. I had floor seats at that concert. I was 6 feet away from that guy. And I'll say this much, Shujin, you know me, you've met me. I'm vertically enhanced, let's just say.
Well, yeah. I mean, let's be fair. You're still not nearly as big as your brothers, so.
Yeah.
We'll put it this way: I'm quite confident that I will have lots of room on his couch in a couple of months.
Fair enough. So what's going on?
I still have to get a spare set of bedding for that too, by the way. Paul Stanley next to me would be like me next to Heretic Woman.
Oh damn!
He is one tall son of a bitch, and that's without the platform shoes.
Damn.
Wow.
So I'm sitting there, or I'm standing there watching them. They're doing I think it was either Love Gun or I Stole Your Love. And
I'm trying to think what year was that?
This was 2006, I think.
Oh, okay. So the last time I saw them was in 2000, and I think the center stage song was Love Gun.
Okay. I mean, you know, maybe it was the same one, but this was the farewell tour.
Okay, 2000 was the farewell tour.
Yeah,
anyway.
which one though? Yeah.
No, they only had one that they specifically called the farewell tour, but
fair enough.
Yeah.
So his mic stand had no less than 24 picks on it.
I remember that.
And everyone around me was just, it was Pavlovian. They were waiting for him to flick the pick. That son of a bitch never did.
No.
I'm thinking, so, dude, you're worth millions of dollars. You telling me that $20 worth of guitar picks?
If that.
Yeah, like what do you got here? Sentimental value there, buddy? You know,
he usually does.
No,
like
when
I've seen him, he did. Huh.
You know,
you have to remind me, because I saw them twice that year. And the one concert that I went to, there was somebody there with a hidden camera directly above me. And I managed to get the bootleg tape of that concert that I was at from the same angle that I was sitting.
Oh.
So you have to remind me, because I have a copy of that kicking around.
My ex-wife and I went to a Meatloaf concert, and there was some guy that he brought his camcorder. And then 4 security guards picked him up.
Oh.
Like one on each limb, because this guy was struggling.
Oh, wow.
And they carted him out of there. He was like 3 rows in front of us. And we saw like my ex and I, we saw the camera. He was like, yeah, how long till he gets busted? And she's like, it won't be long now. And then quite literally, we were watching the show. My attention was completely devoted. I turned, and there was a guy being carted off. And then he was not happy with what the guards were doing to him. But on the other side of it, he kind of did bring it on himself.
Yeah.
We talking about these like oversized fist size, or are we talking about like, you know, on your shoulder kind of?
Not quite that, but it
bigger
was
than what you have now.
Yeah, well, it was maybe about this wide. You know, it's the one that, you know, you hold like this and you have the big screen here.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, whoever took the bootleg that I got had it hidden, because you could see a couple of times when he zoomed way out, the circle of whatever he had it hidden in would
Oh, yeah.
appear. But if he zoomed in, then it was gone, and it was like you were sitting right there. So the first like 5 minutes or so are a little rough, but after that, it's beautiful, the whole concert. So I found it on a news group, Alt Fan Kiss, I think it was. I took a gamble and sent the guy $25 sight unseen, and I got a VHS tape back with the exact concert I went to.
Nice.
Damn it.
Yeah.
See, now you're making me think back to the days of UU encode, UU decode, and goddamn
Yeah.
Kermit to download shit. Thanks ever so
Sorry.
much.
And what's the par2 checksum thing? You know, in case you had a corrupted download, you had the parody files that you could download as a supplement to repatch what was lost. And if you uploaded something, you always had to make those patch files, otherwise people would get mad at you.
Oh, see, this was before downloading. He sent me a freaking VHS tape in the mail.
Yeah. No,
and then years later, I had somebody rip it for me into digital format so I wouldn't lose it.
Cool.
Yeah.
So the point that I was trying to get to, as a matter of fact, yes, there was a point, believe it or not, was that the stuff that I was listing off before, which was a grouping for quote unquote religious activities, even though secular Sundays and that kind of thing are not religious by any stretch of the imagination. It's social gatherings.
Yes,
it's an opportunity for folks to get together for a joint cause. Now, I have gone up to for me, it's like a 40-minute drive to get from where I live up to Center for Inquiry when they have secular Sundays, where it's basically, we go up, we have coffee, we have juice, we have bagels, and we talk about whatever. Yeah, we talk about whatever topic.
But you hang out with like-minded people.
Exactly, and I
think that's the key.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. Now, Brigid, I'm well imagining that the vast majority of people that you were hanging out during this venue were not there to see Run DMC, especially considering that we don't have MC at this point, because he's kind of dead.
Yeah, I mean, they were there to either see Styx or Oreo's Speedwagon, or both. And it's a kind of a sense of community to be with people who are there for the same reason.
And that's kind of the piece that I wanted to make sure that we end up talking about. Dalan and Joe and I were lucky enough. We got the chance to meet each other in Pittsburgh, which was great. And that was for Anthrocon.
Mm-hmm.
Heretic Woman, Brigid, and I, and Tiny Dribble, got the chance to meet over in Hickory, which was great because I got to give Brigid that con shirt, which was great. I still love it.
Awesome, I love it.
There were people who were at the con this weekend who were wearing that shirt again, so it was like, it's great seeing it again. It's like, yeah, I gave away mine. It was worth it, man.
It was wonderful. I loved it.
But we need the opportunity of getting together every once in a while, and that's part of the reason why we kind of do the show. It does kind of feel like, when I was in college, I've talked about this before. Friday nights, it was myself, my girlfriend, who eventually became my wife, who became my late wife, her roommate, and a couple of friends, and we would get together on Friday night at the end of the week, and we do cross-stitch together, stitch and bitch party. Gave us an opportunity to just sit and just complain about all the shit that'd been going on all week, because we could. And it's college. What are you going to do? You don't have a hell lot that you can do. You don't have a car to go off campus, fortunately, and you just hang around with friends. Sometimes you get together because communal TVs, so you can watch whatever it was. At the time, I got some folks together and we would watch Star Trek The Next Generation when it came out, when it was first run. But there are groupings for pretty much anything there are after-school activities in high school. There's stuff in college where you can organize any group that you want. And these days, as an adult, you can pretty well do the same damn thing. But it's a question of trying to find people who share the stuff that you like too, including the people that would like this Angry Orchard. I'm already almost done with this because this is good. I'm actually liking this. This is one of the few times I can actually say that. So, yeah, all right.
Excellent.
I forget who it was that had suggested Angry Orchard, but I don't. Dalan, it might have been you actually. Come to think,
It might have been.
Yeah. So yeah, thank you. So I got 5 more of these.
Yeah.
That'll work out.
Well, I get to go to I'm going to a craft beer store tomorrow with my growler, and I'm going to pick up. They just put it on tap yesterday. It's called Fallen Timber Honeybuck Ginger Lemonade Mead.
Nice.
I imagine it's going to be an interesting flavor. It's going to be sweet, tangy, and probably a little spicy.
Okay. I'm just trying to picture that name in my head, and I'm thinking, how many hyphens are in that at this point?
None at this point, actually.
Oh, well, there you go.
But yeah, if I get out there tomorrow, or when I get out there tomorrow, I'll pick it up and, well, I might throw a comment up somewhere about it.
Fair enough. Just for the record, done. Good. I like it. So
Cool.
Not beer.
it's not beer. I mean, it does say that specifically it's hard cider, so that doesn't totally surprise me. But at the same time, okay, I'm on board for this.
Excellent.
So that's a start.
Now the idea is to get him drunk enough to the point where he passes out. We can give him the rainbow mane.
Nope. And I'm not going to tell you what ended up happening to me after I turned off the set over here for the 200th episode. After it was bad.
Imagine.
Don't, because even our medical expert really doesn't want to be thinking about it. Thank you very much.
Oh dear.
I just thought it was amusing that you picked that episode when we have a psychiatrist on to do that.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Dr. Richard's gonna be writing some papers after that.
Yeah, it was fine. It was fine. It was fine.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So great. I slurred my speech a little bit. This nothing new.
No, it was great. You weren't slurring, you were completely mispronouncing. It was great.
I listened to it after the fact.
Hey, guys. Come on. Shujin's not the first person to have been drunk on this show.
This is true.
It's true.
Come to think of it,
true.
I think I was.
Yeah.
I think it's
and have been on multiple occasions, I will freely admit.
And this is part of the reason why we have been withholding your checks.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, this is not just coffee. Hey, I ran out of creamer. There's a 26 of Bailey's on the counter. What am I going to do?
Oh, Bailey's. Nice.
There you go. Yes, it's not coffee. It's covfefe. Sorry.
It'll only be coffee when I get to the end of the goddamn carafe, all right?
Oh, yeah.
Hey, that's what you have with your covfefe is a toffefe.
That's true. That's true. And by the way, I did actually get maple flavored coffee, ground, unfortunately, but still maple flavored coffee. It's good stuff.
Yeah.
I was just looking for something different. It was good.
I'm suddenly waiting for Joey to cue the maple nut crunch bit.
He did say he was back at some point.
Yeah, he's around here some.
He's probably kicking the cat.
It could be. Now, I think one of the things that's really cool about having these kinds of gatherings, even with this, even though it's digital and around the world and not directly personal, is that we can have the camaraderie of being able to joke at each other's expenses, and it's worth it. It's worth it. Me listening to the show after the fact and going, oh yeah, I know. Oh damn it, I know.
Mm-hmm.
I remember being in grade school and having a small Oh God, I can't believe I'm going to remember this. A small straw in my mouth to try to help me learn how to properly pronounce words, because
Right.
I will admit, I have always had a bit of a lisp. Little bit. It doesn't usually show up. I usually try to be very careful about it. But when I get tired or apparently
Or-
drunk, I know full well it's wow.
You know, it could be worse, Shujin.
Mm.
You could have had the same way of doing things as Demosthenes did.
That's Greek to me. Who? What?
As a matter of fact,
Ah.
no, you're right. Demosthenes, sorry. He was a Greek orator, so like one of those people that gave out speeches and stuff like that.
Oh, a bullshit artist.
Pretty much,
Yeah,
but he
that
had,
too.
but unfortunately, his bullshit came with a bit of an impediment.
Oh, did it now?
Yeah, so it probably came out, like more like bullshit or something like that.
Or biggest sticketh.
Very, very, it's possible. That being said, how he got over it allegedly, and it's funny. I remember this. Honest to God, I remember this from grade 8 history. I just forgot the name, so I had to go looking for it. He would put pebbles in his mouth and shout above the roar of the ocean waves to get his point across.
Okay.
Yeah. So like homeboy worked them pipes and probably worked on his pronunciation considering the fact he had a mouthful of rocks.
I was gonna say, what does that have to do with his teeth?
Given everything else, given the fact that it was the ancient world and stuff like that, I don't think he was any worse off.
Okay.
I mean, they didn't exactly have Colgate back then either,
Well, yeah. I'm surprised he didn't like choke on one.
Well, I would imagine that would probably be part of the training for himself. Make sure that you're able to speak clearly, even with that. No, not even because of that, but specifically because of that, to be aware of what you are doing with your face. I have to put it that way because there is a way of training your voice for singing that you are not listening to what you're producing so much as you are feeling what you're producing, which is a level of vocal control that I will admit I don't get.
Well, I just remember in choir we were taught to over pronunciate everything.
Yeah. And when you're in a choir, you kind of have to in order to make sure that you will have people who will hyper pronunciate every syllable, and then you will end up with those that are on the opposite side of that bell curve who are kind of mumbling through it a little bit. So you need to have that combination. And let me tell you, when you're singing Latin,
oh man,
yeah.
Now I love listening to Latin being sung. I don't know what the hell it says, but it sounds nice.
Talking about social gatherings.
Thank you.
No, actually, believe it or not, I can segue this.
Go.
I can do this. So, Latin Gregorian chants, kind of a thing, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so Gregorian chant kind of eases over into an old bumper for a bit that's on a particular podcast of which I'm a big fan. It's time once again.
Oh, that.
Now, the segue. One convention I wish I'd gone to back in like 2004, 2006. Dragon Con. There was a reason for that. Back then, podcasting had just taken off. Like 2004 was really when it got started. Like when it sort of hit, I won't say mainstream, but suddenly became very accessible to people.
Right.
Hosting sites like Libsyn, Podcast Pickle, Pod Show, which eventually became Mevio, which eventually became Get the Hell Out of Here. They all sprung up. And a friend of mine got me listening to a couple, and I started listening to a couple more and a couple more and a couple more. And there was like a group of, I guess you could call them pod stars or podcast pioneers. You had George Robb, of whom some of us know, T. Morris, an author who is credited for taking one of the first published novels that he ever did and turning it into a podcast. Scott Sigler, the man who wrote a novel strictly for podcasting. He podcasted first, then published it. Now he's a New York Times bestselling author. J.C. Hutchins, he did a trilogy of books. He did a couple more, but now he's sort of gone into, he marketed his media skills, and now he's more of a journalist than he is a podcaster these days. And another one, Mur Lafferty, author, used to do a podcast called I Should Be Writing. I think she still does it, actually. Again, sort of writer tips and tricks. Then there was another person, Evo Terra, who is the founder of Podiobooks.com, which is still going today, where you can put up podcast fiction, where I'm going to be publishing eventually.
Good man.
Now, these guys, when you hear them on their individual shows, are quite, I wouldn't say serious, but definitely calm. They don't wig out. They don't they don't go batshit crazy on their own shows. George, well, I mean, he does a lot of different voices and stuff, but that's him. But when these guys all got together at Dragon Con, and the term open bar came to mind, a podcast show called Wingin' It was born. And let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, Mur Lafferty drunk is a sight to behold. This is where, and actually Wingin' It became a communal thing after that, where another podcast called Speaking of Beer got started. But okay, going through the chant thing, George Robb did a live episode of the Geologic podcast on there. He did his intro live. But then there was the religious moron of the week. And he got the audience to do the moron chant. And honest to God, pitch perfect for a bunch of drunken reprobates, But the thing is, I would have loved to have been there, because I'm a fan of all of these guys, even to this day. And to have had the opportunity to sort of rub shoulders with these guys, and I mean, at the time I was nothing but a wannabe. I still technically I am, but I wonder if I'd had a chance to actually sit down and socialize with these guys, if I would have gotten the kick in the butt that I needed back then to really see it through to the end and actually get farther than I am now.
Well, I find going to conferences to be rather inspirational.
By the way,
And
before you go, though, Tech, you have a good night. Thanks for hanging out with it for as long as you could, man. Appreciate it.
Oh, it's Fellas who's going to bed.
Oh, I'm sorry. Good night, hon. Sorry, Tech. Sorry, it's the alcohol. I can't read the lines for. I'm going with that. Anyway, I'm sorry. Going on. Are we looking at your snowball? Please tell me it's not a snowball that we're looking at.
That is my snowball. Yes.
God damn it!
What? It's my snowball from Glory Hole Studios.
God damn it! You're not helping matters.
What?
There's mine.
Fuckers. All right, that's it. Good night, everybody. Fuck
what?
Later. Okay, go on. Do your thing.
No, I was just saying, I find going to conferences to be energizing and inspiring. And of course, the one I went to, it had all kinds of speeches and workshops and things to go to. And I saw Anthony Magnavosco did a workshop on street epistemology, which was fun. And got to do a little role play with that, try your hand at it. Just a lot of interesting. I didn't even get to go and see. This is a thing. I didn't even get to go to half the stuff that was offered because I got waylaid talking to people that I haven't seen forever in between the schedule. And so it's kind of like, oh, that's half over. Well, I guess I'll just stand here and talk to people and go to the next one, sort of thing. And
you see, I want to get down to I want to get down to a secular and atheist convention down in the States one of these days, because it sounds like, from what I've heard, some of us, or some of you guys that went, were actually pointed out, like, hey, you're one of the holy crap people.
Yeah.
I'd like to see that. Like, that's the one thing I love about going to FurCons, especially these days, is that there are a couple of familiar faces, people maybe I haven't talked to or seen face to face in a long time. I mean, the last FurCon I went to was up in Edmonton a couple of years back. And I'm walking around and somebody recognized me in my suit, and well, I couldn't see anything because I can barely see anything out of that freaking head to begin with. I got mauled. Basically, I had somebody just basically latch onto me, and then I felt two more arms go around me. I'm like, who are these people? Of course, I found out later, it was actually two very good friends of mine that I hadn't talked to in a long time. Yeah. And they were just happy to see me because, well, let's face it, we all have our lives. We have our obligations that we have to do. Some of us have to work. We do the 9 to 5 or whatever. And at the end of the day, do you really want to go out? Possibly. And then some friends, I mean, they're newlyweds, so they're adjusting to married life, or they got cats to deal with, or they got kids to deal with.
Yeah.
So the chance to go out for coffee these days is almost impossible. So that if you can get to a convention or something like that and actually catch up with these people, like the Christmas party I went to, I went to a Christmas party in December, which was actually a fundraiser for the convention that's happening in June. And I connected with people that I hadn't talked to in so long that, I almost didn't recognize some of them.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. I saw a couple of my ex-roommates there. A couple of them I got along with a couple of them greatly. One I admittedly tried to avoid like the plague because he's a creep. Like, put it this way. My girlfriend came up to visit one year. While I was at work, that son of a bitch tried to hit on her. It didn't end well for him. And this was before I got home. She put it, hey, she's a redhead. She put him in his place.
I wouldn't know anything about that.
Can't imagine why.
Yeah, I'm mugging the camera at this point, folks.
No, it's just a lot of people that I hadn't seen. So it's been 2 years since I went to Nashville last. So there was some people I had seen in the interim at ReasonCon, because I've sort of been, whatever year ReasonCon is, I go to that, and then the other year I've been going to NanoCon. So well,
I think about that placemat that you guys, or that Shujin that you sent me, that had all the names on it, the Get Well card.
Yes.
And
worth it.
I want the chance to meet some of those people face to face. And
ReasonCon is on in 2019.
You know what? That's fact, far enough out. I could actually make arrangements for it.
You should plan for that. And Jean and Chastity were there at NanoCon. They're the organizers of ReasonCon, and got chatting with they're in the planning stages already, and starting to Jean's like, I'm getting nervous already. It's a lot of work to do that.
Yeah,
but
it is. It is.
they
And,
do. Mhm.
yeah, and then don't forget, Al, you should really bring the page along with you, so you can say
Yes.
which one is you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And take a picture with
there. Yeah, I'll come there with a yellow highlighter and
Yeah.
just start marking them off as I go.
No, even better.
Go through, make a list, make a separate list with check boxes, and like, okay, you are on my whatever, and I'd like to check you off my list of hi, I've met you and said thank you and got a picture.
No. Take a picture of it, blank out the sections, and bring a new version of it with you, and say, okay, here's the original. Which one are you? You're this one. Good. Print your name. Let's get a picture, and I'm going to hold the thing pointing to where you are on the thing, and I will know who the hell you are now.
That's great.
That would be awesome.
That's great.
It would be.
So of course, the conference was only the one main event that I was there for.
Yep.
Yeah, because then the next day was the other main event, which was so incredibly awesome.
You know what? I don't think that we're under any kind of NDA. You might as well just go ahead and spill the beans.
It was the big gay wedding of Callie and Celeste.
Yeah.
Which was pretty freaking awesome. And I have to share what I think was the best moment of the entire ceremony.
Photobomb.
Oh yeah.
That goddamn black cat.
Aw.
It was, and he's polydactyl as well. But the black kitty cat just came sauntering up, and he stood out and looked at the audience and was kind of like, "Yep, I'm here. You can proceed now." It was a sweetie too, but it was just fabulous, And
22.
Pardon?
22. I counted 22 tabs open.
Oh. Yeah, it's a light day, I know.
Mm-hmm.
But no, the cat stole the show, but it was really beautiful and wonderful and very casual, and they kind of had the reception the night before because this was Sunday, and the ceremony happened, everybody had hugs and tears and maybe a cup of coffee, and then it was like poof, everyone was gone because everybody had to drive home and get to work the next day. So but we hung around for a couple hours after, and the farm where it happened, I don't know if any of you saw it in the news, but there was a woman from Tennessee who's one of the directors of Recovery from Religion who ran for Senate.
Yeah.
That was her farm, Gail Jordan's farm.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
So we got to hang out with Gail and her daughter Glenda, who's amazing. Glenda is a model and a go-go dancer in Vegas and quite the spitfire. So yeah, just hanging out on the farm, and we were playing with ducklings and chicks because they had a whole whackload of little ducklings that were newly hatched, and Gail was trying to teach them how to swim in a basin. It was adorable.
That's so cute.
It was really cute.
Little baby evolved dinosaurs, and they're so cute now. That's adorable as all.
They're fuzzy. But no, it was just a beautiful day, and just again, like nothing too formal, but just like you say, family of choice. Just being there with each other and enjoying the happy moments was just really, really special. So, yeah.
Now, speaking of that, and Joe, you haven't had the opportunity of talking up, and I didn't know if you had anything in particular that you were looking to throw in, since I see that you're unmuted at the moment, but
not at the moment.
But I wanted to grab you for this one because the whole family of choice thing. I've talked about it on many an occasion, how come Anthrocon time, I've been trying to get people to get together to go for breakfast at Fred Rogers' statue.
Mhm.
And just this past week, he was finally given a stamp from the U.S. Postal Service, a forever stamp, meaning that you pay for the stamp once, it's good for one first class postage for whatever, and it's good forever. And it's a beautiful looking piece of them too.
Mhm.
The opportunities of getting together with at least some folks, even briefly, during the summer, I don't know how many people you specifically are looking to get together with, but I have been proud to be able to say, yeah, I'm here and I'm having lunch or I'm having dinner. Okay, it might not be at Piemonte's, but we're having subs, and I'm with my bud, and he's not in the hospital this time, so it's good. It's fun times.
And we try to enjoy ourselves when we can.
It doesn't.
It's nice getting everybody together every now and then.
Yeah, it doesn't
sure.
it doesn't happen nearly often enough in person. That's part of the reason why I mean, let's face it, a 4-hour drive one way is not something that you do on a whim.
No.
An hour, yeah, it depends on what kind of a day it is. But the chance to get together, especially when we're talking about a 4-hour one way, that's something worthwhile, man. That's something special, and that's me driving door to door 4 hours. Just so everybody understands, where I live, it is a 4-hour door to door. Boom, done, right on the money. And it's good to have the opportunity of getting together and seeing you. And we've talked, on occasion that even though you don't know the vast majority of the 5,000 plus people that are going there. By the way, almost $2,000 for an Equinox this weekend. So 1830-ish.
Nice.
So nice. But you've already said that you wanted to do something for the people just because they would be there and it would be fun to watch people's faces setting up the Ostrowskan consulate.
Yes. The border check, yes.
Now, for those that don't quite understand it, the real quick setup of it is, Ostrowska is a fictional country, not very different from East Germany, probably.
Glory to Ostrowska.
Glory to Ostrowska. And it's from a video game called Papers, Please. And the idea is that you're a border guard, and you need to try to figure who's allowed and who's not allowed to come across the border. And sometimes it works poorly. But you wanted to take that and have fun with people's expense through the convention, going through the Sky Bridge.
Mm-hmm. Are you a man or a woman?
All right, if you're asking, I'm man.
No, there are a few characters in that game where you honestly have to ask.
It's true. It's true. There are.
I am neither, sir. I am a neat popsicle.
And honestly, you don't get faulted for it as long as you don't let somebody in that's not supposed to be in or anything. It just eats up your time, and your income for you and your often sick family is based on how many you get through in a single day. So that's when you want to be careful like that, it takes up your time.
But the point of it was, like I said, for Anthrocon, it's over $5,000 at this point. Last I remembered,
Yes.
What was it? Close to 6, I think.
Yes, and I'm pretty sure they would never let me do it because it'd be an obstruction. But
yeah, to a certain degree, probably. I'm sure there'd be ways of doing it. But the point of it was, you'd be looking to do something like this just for fun, just for giggles, just to make people smile, even inside of their fursuit heads where you would never see them smiling, other than just to watch their body language, just to make them smile, just because it would be fun. And I think I think the thing that I kind of want to run past you with this is these are a bunch of people you probably don't know and
Yeah.
don't know you and
Precisely.
might not ever. So why the hell would you want to go ahead and do something funny for people that don't know who the hell you are and won't tip you and won't be able to do nothing, probably won't remember who the hell you are later?
Simple enough. Simple enough. It is something that makes people smile, and I don't care who the hell you are, whether I know you from Adam or not. If I can put a smile on somebody's face, why not? It's not going to cost me anything.
Well, except for the couple of pieces of wood and paper over your head that glory to Artsoska, have your papers ready, please. But that's a whole other thing. And that's oh God. I just looked over at the chat. UnrenownedTech. Thanks, man. I was asking how many people were going over to Anthrocon at this point, and he's, well, at least it isn't over 9,000. Really, dude? Seriously, you had to do that, didn't you? As a complete non sequitur to that one, he knows full well because he was listening to last night's show. Yeah, Dragon Ball, all 7 Dragon Balls. Yeah, worth it. Anyway, but I kind of wanted to use that for a second because I mean, the opportunity of making people smile or laugh just because people that will probably never end up meeting, and actually having a face-to-face with. Brigid, perfect example. You went off to a concert for people who go out there and yeah, they're getting paid for it, but they're not thinking about the money. They go out there and there's a bunch of people who love what they do. And I'm sure how close you were, you had to have seen these guys. I have to imagine at least one of them was absolutely, yeah, this is fucking great.
Oh, there were lots of, smiles and playing, to a few of us in the audience as far as like, they were clowning with us and stuff like that. And a couple of comments of like, they would see somebody's shirt and say, hey, nice shirt. And, things like that. I don't know. I will repeat what was on the shirt just because, yeah. There was a guy that was next to me that had a custom T-shirt on that said "Anti-Trump AF," for as,
No, gotcha.
Yeah, F word, and yeah, bass player was like, "Hey, dude, like your shirt," So, I mean, yeah, they were not just up there to do a job; they actually looked like they were having fun and interacting with the audience. It was great.
Yeah, and Dalan, this is something that we've kind of talked about before, with doing streams and DJing.
Yeah,
and I've said it before. If you're faking it, if you're not enjoying what the hell you're doing, if you're faking it, if you're phoning it in, people will know instantly.
Oh, huge! Like Sunday nights, I do a solo gig in Second Life, kind of like what we do on Friday nights, except it's just me. And I've had nights where my heart's just not in it. I had a bad weekend, or I had a bad conversation with somebody, or just not feeling it. And it shows in the music I select. It shows in when I try to talk to people, because I do work the mic. And it shows that not as many people are connected to the stream. The club that I'm in, it's not very full of people. But then, what was it? Just a few weeks ago, I had I don't know, something just clicked. And I about noon on Sunday, I started going through my playlist. Like, okay, this sounds good. This sounds good. I basically had a 2-hour block of music ready to go, with a little bit in between for some my usual WTF news segment, because, well, people seem to like it. And that was one of the things, is that I suggested it a week before. I said, hey guys, what do you think if I brought this back to Sunday, since I don't do it on Thursdays anymore? And everybody thought, the response I got was, you know, if you've got something that'll make people laugh, go for it. So like I said, I basically tailored it. 7:00 p.m. my time hit. The bumper went in. I started. It was probably a record night for stream connections that night. And I've been kind of riding it ever since. And it's like, you're right. I can't phone it in. Like you said, they know. So I have to kind of, well, and it's with anything, and especially these days, even at work, my voice is actually becoming more and more part of my job, as well as part of my spare time. And whatever is going on upstairs here, you gotta put a blanket on that. You gotta turn it off and get your game face on. And you got to believe that what you're doing is that you're giving it everything that you should.
Yeah, I want to take that a second because somehow or other, Joe, I think this is going to be this part's going to be hysterical. Talking with you about this one really quickly, we know full well that there are clowns. And I don't mean as in like, you know, people who are just played up just for fun. Professional face-painted clowns. Some are better than others. Some are in Stephen King movies. Be that as it may. I don't know if you had heard, but somebody had an explanation for why some clowns are just creepy, even beyond the whole, you know, the clownophobia or whatever the hell it's actually. I don't remember what it's called. I don't care. I like clownophobia because I heard it on Animaniacs, and god damn it, I'm sticking with that. So, you know, screw y'all. But I thought that you would probably be interesting for this one. Do you currently have one of those pathological fear of clowns in general?
Myself, no. I just find them distasteful.
Okay. So
okay, when somebody presents a clown to me, you know, I'm not going to judge them or anything like that. But if it's, I mean, for example, I don't find it scary. What I find is Tim Curry's amount of camp scary.
Okay, fair enough.
And I can't speak for the newer one. I mean, more often than not, if somebody attempts to throw a scary clown at me, I'm more likely to punch him than anything. And I'll be perfectly honest, mimes just fill me with an uncontrollable rage.
I can't stand mimes. Oh,
you want to hit them over the head with a pimento loaf. Yes, that's a Berkeley Bread reference.
No, a baguette. A very crusty baguette.
Oh, Joseph's missing a hell of a show tonight.
I know. Of course, if we go Corsican Brothers, then you want to use a pomme de terre. You're gonna have to look it up.
Probably because now I've got the Incredibles running through my head right now.
What have you done?
You so much.
You've hit him in the head with a potato.
If you would like the proper term of the clown phobia, I hope I'm pronouncing this right. It's colorophobia.
Cool. You know what? I'm going with clownophobia. I don't care. We'll just stick with clownophobia. It's funnier that way. It's okay. Much more pronounceable, and it's not Latin, so you know. Go.
Well, no, it's so like COUL.
It's close enough. It's close enough to. I don't care. It's Greek to me. Whatever the fuck. All right. So Joe, here's the thing. The way it was described was people who do not normally see clowns as the creepy, scary for whatever reason, will pick up on people who. If the purpose of being a clown, face painted, the whole thing, is to is to use that imagery to hyper accentuate how you are supposed to come across, how you're supposed to present yourself, but your heart's not in it. That there is this thing where your brain is seeing something and you're interpreting something else that's just not working. If you're supposed to be like a happy clown and you're kind of going through the motions, people kind of get very off put for that.
Yeah.
So I guess what I'm going with is stop being so morose and stop smiling like that. It's creeping me the hell out. All right, so cut that out.
I don't even have my camera on, so.
I know, but no, what I'm going with is that what you were talking about doing is something that I do think that you would actually have a hell of a lot of honest fun with, and have honest smiles with people, and I guess that's kind of where I'm going with. I don't believe that is something that you specifically could phone in. I don't think that you would be able to do that because you would just have just too damned much fun. And yeah, your mic had muted out.
I don't know.
How about
Yeah, it's coming on and off again. Interesting.
Better now.
Yeah, don't waste time sighing, man. Just say whatever.
Talk.
it was nothing. It was anecdotal. It was meant to be a joke. Forget it.
Okay.
Well, hell, thanks so much.
I said I would be very happy. I would have basket full of turnips.
That
Very good.
okay, that's good. See that and what the hell? Sorry, I just took a quick look over at the chat from Stephanie. Terry Pratchett's Lord Vitinari?
Yeah.
I think I got that right. Throws mimes into a pit.
I like this guy.
I don't know this reference at all.
I don't either, but I'm liking this guy so far.
You see, I kind of take a track from Robin Hood Men in Tights. When the guy who played Prince John, I can't remember his name, although he's a very famous, albeit very unfunny comedian.
No, it wasn't Tim Curry. That was...
I can't remember, but all he said was, a mime is a terrible thing to waste.
Terrible thing to waste. Yeah.
I'm not going anywhere. Nope, not going anywhere near that one. Yes, but I can speak with an English accent. I'm sorry.
It was Richard Lewis.
Thank you.
No problem.
Oh, him. Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I remember who that is now.
Yes. By the way, I've not really listened to him much, but there is a guy who keeps popping up on YouTube called Puddles the Clown, who sings popular songs, but he is ridiculously creepy looking. But apparently he's so creepy looking that I don't want to even listen, but apparently he's a good singer. But yeah, there's a selection of him singing various popular songs.
Yeah, he does a lot of covers, and he's actually pretty good at it.
I've heard that he has a good voice and all. Just I can't get past looking at him. If I found like an audio only without a thumbnail, then I might listen. But yeah, if I see YouTube and I see him in a thumbnail, I'm like, nope.
See, now you're making me think of when I had originally found the don't judge me for this, people. The Power Rangers theme. Yes, I know. Just stick with me for a second. As done by Buckethead. And that was the first time that I had ever seen what he looked like in his onstage persona with the white mask and the KFC bucket on his head. And, and I thought that was the weirdest thing.
I don't know what Buckethead is, but when you were talking about having his head covered, I immediately thought of the Unknown comic.
Oh my
Oh.
God,
Yeah.
I remember him.
He was awesome.
He was.
I love that guy.
He finally unmasked himself, on
Yes, he did.
Bizarre
Yes. Yes.
with
he
John
did.
Biner.
Yeah,
Yes.
Bizarre. Ah, there's another show. Oh man.
Oh man,
Super Dave Osborne.
yes, that genuine Saskatchewan seal leather.
Oh yeah.
Or no, sorry, Saskatchewan sealskin bindings. That was it.
There you go.
Yes.
And now, see, this is kind of what we're talking about, man. It doesn't even necessarily need to be just getting together for a specific.
It's that instant sort of, oh yeah, we all remember that thing, and we can share a moment.
Yeah.
And like Joe was saying, bringing a smile to each other.
Yeah.
A moment of just, dare I say,
Okay.
bliss.
Well,
But you
life is made up of a series of moments.
It is. But you realize that we all remember Bizarre, and the Unknown comic means we're all old.
No, the point, the idea that we hear, yeah, I turned 21 years old, and we're not thinking, oh, you were born in 1970. Yeah, that hurts now. Okay, so
Yeah.
you were born in 19. Oh, right. No. Okay, 19. Okay, so you were born in 1909. God damn it! You were born in the 90s. Shit.
You know
I got
what?
divorced for the first time in the 90s.
I know. I'm like, I see people giving me friend requests, and I look it up, because I check out who people are, and if they have their birthday list, it's like, born in 1997. I'm like, I was like,
Yep.
graduated from university and had my second apartment, and no.
Cool cars were made the year I was born.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know what? I'm not even going to do that, because a gentleman doesn't wait.
67 Mustangs are awesome.
Okay, fair enough. I was going to say I do have I could go and get the badge that actually does list me as it actually does say, no lie, it was done for me as a gift. Certified gentleman pervert. I swear it's true. I will show it on camera one of these days. Somebody just needs to remind me. It was great. But this is kind of what I'm talking about. We get together on a weekly basis. Usually, every once in a while, things happen, and I can't trust the other main hosts to help me out on this. It's fine. It's fine. I mean, one of these days I'll pay him, and
Yeah.
But we get together because even when we're upset at whatever the hell it is that the main topic is, we enjoy having the camaraderie. We enjoy being able to be together. And we enjoy because they're things that we agree on a hell of a lot more than we disagree on. There's some things that, given the opportunity, I would love to have the opportunity of, getting on a ski lift so I could kick Dalan's ass. It's not going to happen anytime soon, but that's fine. And I know full well that those of you that listen or watch or both, as the case may be, we are part of your daily life to a certain degree. And this is wait a minute. Actually, let me back this up a second. Dalan, this is something that George had talked about at least on one occasion, where there's this weird dichotomy. Yes, as the podcast presenter, where you do whatever it is that you do, and you kind of put it out there. But the people who will listen to it, who will consume whatever it is that you put out there, take it in, and to a certain degree, feel that they have a bigger connection to the person that's putting out the content than they actually do. So there's this kind of weird one-way street of familiarity that we kind of have to navigate through sometimes.
There is. You know, having met George, I probably accidentally creeped him out. And if I ever see him again, I'm going to apologize for it.
Oh, please. If you didn't give him pink eye from trading glasses, don't worry about it. Everything's fine. I still have that picture, by the way. Somewhere.
Yeah, so do I. I still hang on to it because I don't take a lot of pictures of myself these days. Yeah, I'm not one of those selfie guys. I actually hate pictures of myself.
Yeah, I don't want to see duck lips. Oh God, thanks.
But
you know,
but the thing is, yeah, I kind of see that. Like I was talking about earlier, you know, the whole Dragon Con thing and how I wish I could have been there. The thing is, none of these guys know me. Like they wouldn't know me from a hole in the ground, really. You know, even though I said, you know, yeah, I'm working on my own thing, you know, and they just kind of went, yeah, okay, you know, good luck with that. We're gonna go over here and do stuff that all the popular people do. You know, you can sit in the audience and clap if you want. Now, I'm pretty sure they'd be a lot more cordial than that in person. I mean, having met Seth Andrews and Aaron Raw in person, even the short exchange I had with them, you know, I felt like I kind of knew a bit about them, but at the same time, you know, it's not like we had really time to really sit and chat. I would have loved to have sat and just, you know, had a couple of drinks with these guys and just, you know, hung out with them. But at the end of the day, I am just like we are all just fans. You know, that there is a layer of connection, though. There is a layer that doesn't exist, that normally exists between, you know, let's say celebrities and us plebs. Like you can't exactly go walk up to, you know, Brad Pitt and shake his hand and everything like that, because, you know,
you get tackled.
There's a tangible I wanted to say plateau, but I think I'm wrong there, but a separation.
There's a boundary.
Yeah, there's a tangible boundary between a celebrity of that magnitude and somebody like you and me. But
yeah, or like, you know, when I was at the conference, we ended up going to a bonfire. It's like, oh, Matt Delanty's there, so we just hung out and talked. You know,
yeah,
you don't do that with Brad Pitt.
But in sort of the potosphere, and I think that was one thing that was the real draw of, you know, so-called do-it-yourself media, or you know, the DIY stuff that we're doing now, is that there is a that barrier doesn't exist, or you don't want it to exist.
Yeah.
You know, like I said, I'd love to go to one of these cons where Holy Crap is known and see if anybody recognizes me. You know, I would love to meet these people. I'd love to shake their hands and, you know, and to have people say, you know what, do a good job. Prime example, Anthrocon a couple years back, I ran into an artist by the name of Seth Triggs. Now, his art is not what I would call, let's just say he's got his own style. It's a very casual style. Some people call it scribbling. One person actually really leaned into him and said, you know, your art looks like something a 5-year-old would do. At which point Seth kind of sits back, adjusts the fedora on his head, sort of waves his arm at the mass following on his web comic and the number of story commissions that he's been doing with one of the creators of the Chakat race. And just kind of goes, but here's the thing. So I recognized him from a picture, I think, that I saw of him. He did a selfie on Fur Affinity one time. And I see him. I mean, the homeboy is decked out to the nines. He showed up at Anthrocon, frickin' suit, tie, the fedora, the whole 9 yards. I walked right out to him. I said, "You're Seth Triggs, aren't you?" And he just looked at me like, yeah. I'm like, you know what? I've been following your comic for the past, you know, X number of years. I'm a huge fan. I just want to say, keep doing what you're doing. Here to here. He
Yeah.
grinned at me, thanked me so heartily. And, you know, I couldn't do that. I couldn't walk up to, you know, Chris Pratt and say, hey, you know what? I loved you as Star-Lord. You know, without him kind of looking at it like, oh, okay, yeah, you're a creep, you know, scurry, you unfaithful pleb or whatever, you know. You know, even some authors these days, you know, there's that. I like the idea of this sort of more social interaction where your idols, the people you're fans of, are a little more reachable than, say, a movie star or a TV star.
It really does make a difference, you know. Like I've never been to a Star Trek convention, sadly. For whatever, somebody posted something that got me looking at videos from those kinds of conventions last night, and while I'm enjoying watching them, it's you know, being at a convention like that, the chances of getting to interact with the people that you appreciate are virtually nil. Like the lineups would be ridiculous. A lot of these conventions now, I understand, if you even want a selfie with the person or an autograph, you have to pay for it.
Well, any comic convention, you've had to do that. I had to pay for, I got an autographed photo of Max Headroom.
Oh, cool. I mean, I can kind of see why they do that on one hand, but then on the other hand, I always thought of it as a fan thank you thing, you know, like if you're showing up, if you're paying already to be there, and then you're lining up for who knows how long to see the person, at least, okay, an autograph, maybe pay for that, but I mean, a selfie, paying for that, like how it takes like 10 seconds. You know what I mean?
What was it? One of the Calgary Comic Cons here a few years back. It was the first time since the end of the show that the entire cast of The Next Generation was together in one place.
I was just watching that.
And if you wanted that picture, if you wanted a picture with the Enterprise crew, on top of the admission fee to get into the convention, on top of everything else, it was an extra $200+ to get this photo. And
wow,
I've never like, I have a friend. She is she's a fursuiter, but let's just say her costume is not exactly what I would call the nice, happy, friendly type.
okay.
She designs horror sets. She works at the Scream Fest here every Halloween.
Oh,
and
wow.
She is damn good at what she does. And her direwolf costume, and the way she plays it, like when she puts that thing on,
yeah,
she could be an extra on a Predator movie. Okay. She's got the motion.
Wow.
She got a picture with Elvira.
Wow.
While she was wearing her fursuit.
Cool.
I was her handler at the time, so I actually stood in line with her. Right. So that, I mean, you can't see crap out of those things, and I speak from experience. Well, we got to the front of the line, and I actually had a chance to see Elvira, and she had the wig, she had the dress, and it was like she had not aged. She is bathing in the blood of virgins, ladies and gentlemen. I can tell you. She has
to be, man, because she looks amazing.
She does. She looks incredible. But she turned, and here's a 6-foot+ dire wolf staring at her. She damn near fell out of her stool. And she laughed. She thought that was like one of the coolest things she'd ever seen. And I've seen the pictures. This person also got a picture of with her Freddy Krueger.
Oh, David Englund.
Yep. And she got a couple of others too. Yeah, Robert. Yeah. She got a couple of others too. But everyone she had to pay for, which I kind of sort of understand, but at the same time, I don't.
I'm with you on that. I'm totally with you on that. Whereas if you go to, like, even when I went to Imagine a Religion last year with Dawkins, you know, he he didn't charge anything for I mean, during the VIP luncheon, he sat there for like who knows how long, and people had brought like every book of his that they own. I wouldn't know anything about that personally, but and he graciously sat there and would take your entire stack of books that you brought from home and sign every bloody one for you. Now, mind you, he did not offer to personalize anything. It was just, you know, he would talk to you for a couple of minutes and sign his name, and that was it. It was no like, who do I make this out to or any of that, which I understand because the guy was super in demand. Everybody wanted him to sign stuff all day. And I kind of felt bad because I got all my stuff signed, and then I got a message from Beth who's like, can you get one for me too? Like, sure. Then I had to go back and get him to sign it later. But you know, he was very gracious about the whole thing and taking selfies all day and all of that. And granted, he might not be on the level of somebody who is in Star Trek, but in our community, he kind of is. And he was very gracious with his time that way, which I really appreciated.
Yeah, before we go ahead and wrap up, because we're getting pretty close in on it. I think that's something I want to touch on really quickly. If we got so damned lucky that we could actually be at a con together for, you know, where a whole bunch of other podcasters, which by the way, when we were over there in Hickory, and Tom and Cecil were nearby, and Tiny Triple wanted to figure out who was who, and it's like, which is it them? Ask them to say something.
Yeah, I know. Just talk to them.
Yeah, and it's like, could you say something? Recording live from. It was I wish I was recording it. Anyway, it was brilliant. Anyway, but the point of it was, if we ever had the opportunity that we were at a con as the podcast group together, even if it was just most of us, those of us that are with it now, and Tech, I don't know if you're still watching at this point, but I'd love to have you go ahead and you know, tappity and let me know what you think about this too. If we were lucky enough that we were, for whatever reason, billboarded for, let's say, for whatever reason, because, you know, every podcaster is lucky enough, a podcast group is lucky enough to have, you know, a half-hour block where they're up on a stage and they get the chance to talk and do whatever it is that they want to do first, and then have the opportunity of talking with the fans, the people that wanted to see them, because, you know, we're out there, we're all kind of trying to help out each other. What would you want to have happen from that whole standpoint? I mean, we were talking about how, you know, you got to pay for selfies with some groups. I can see if it was, you know, a minimal amount to go to whatever the charity is going to be, or if you have to pay a minimal amount because you have to, because it constitutes a contract so that you've got distribution rights for the picture, for the person's image and whatnot. Okay, I can see all of that. It's crap to me, but, you know, whatever the hell. But I'd love to know what you guys would think about it. Would you want to just sit there and just talk because we can, or raise money for a group because we can, or encourage somebody who's never had the opportunity to be on a microphone to sit with us because we can? I'll tell you personally, I'd go ahead and I'd offer up the little piggy bank for Ride for Roswell. I'd put it right there in front of the stage and say, you want to put in, you put in. You don't want to put in, you don't put in. You're a kid and you want to get into, and you want to have an opportunity of sitting here and interview people who like to talk a lot. Here's your big opportunity. That's me. Now, I don't know about the rest of you guys, but you know, like I've said, I don't do this because of money. I intentionally try the hell to avoid it every opportunity I can, but encouraging people and giving them a smile and giving them something to think about. Man, that's the whole reason for doing the damn show in the first place.
Yeah, I was about to say, if we're doing this for money, where the hell's my back pay?
Dude, right behind mine. It's right behind mine.
No, I mean, it's a lot of people, like, again, I kind of go back from, I mean, having been in this world, mostly as a listener, but also partially as a creator for so many years. There was a promise, an illusion, if you will, at the beginning, that this was easy money. You know, shows like the Donna Drew Show, This Week in Tech, Podcast 411, all these shows that people put out, and they were making money. And the hosting companies were saying, you know what, you could be like those people. You know, GoDaddy still does to this day. They have podcasters pimping out their site all the time. But what they didn't tell you, and what, you know, a lot of people learn much to their dismay later on, is that a lot of these people had to sign contracts. They had to, you know, sort of what they eventually found out is that making money as a podcaster was really not that much different and not easier than making money as a radio DJ or as an author or as a classic content creator. There were still channels you had to go through. And even to this day, you know, podcasters, YouTube personalities, they all play to a niche market. And if you specialize in more and more things, your niche gets smaller and smaller and smaller. Your pool of potential fans drops considerably, to the point where if you are there are not many people that make any kind of scratch off of doing this kind of stuff. You know, Patreon can get you a certain way. And a few months ago, I guess now, I remember posting pictures of, I just went willy-nilly looking for content creators on Patreon to see how much money people were making. You know, there's a Norwegian heavy metal musician doing covers of pop songs.
I know that guy.
Yeah, Leo Maracchioli.
Yep.
I'm actually one of his patrons because I love his music. I'm a metalhead, I admit it.
He does good stuff.
Oh yeah,
and his kid,
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, per video, he's pulling down 4 digits.
Yeah.
Jordan Peterson, love him or hate him.
40K a month.
Yeah, Homeboy's making as much bank as some people make as an annual salary.
Yep.
To the Ranting Griffin, he's doing pretty good on his own. The Scathing Atheist crew, they're doing pretty good. I mean, they're doing good enough that they're actually funding 4 people who don't have to work on a 9-to-5 job. They've got 4 shows that they deal with. They got the Scathing Atheist, they've got God Awful Movies, they've got the Skepticrat, and then they've got this other one, Opening Arguments, I think it's called.
No.
Or is it Serious Inquiries Only?
No, you're thinking Thomas Smith.
I know what you're talking about. I haven't heard them. Anyway.
But I know there's a 4th show that they.
It's the one that they do with Cogdis.
Yeah.
Okay. But
critical thinker.
Anyway.
Yeah. But in any case, I mean, but they are the exceptions to the rule.
Yep.
Yeah.
99% of us are like us. We're not going to make any cash off of this. And if you come into this expecting that, just quit now.
Mm-hmm.
Quit. Stop what you're doing and think about why it is you're doing this.
Yeah, that can't really be a motivation because you're just going to be disappointed.
Yeah, and you're gonna be doing like we said earlier. You're just gonna be phoning it in. And I know of at least one podcast that got 2 or 3 episodes in, and they lost interest because it wasn't happening.
And it was because they whipped out the Patreon thing on episode 1. because they saw what the podcast that they based themselves off of was doing and thought, hey, we can go off of that. And tragically, it didn't work. And I've been re-inspired to maybe start looking at dusting off a show that I did years, and I mean years ago. Just before you and I even met online, I was doing this show, but tweaking it a little bit. I just started listening to this podcast that I've been meaning to get back to for years. Again, it's one of these veteran podcasters who's been doing this all this time. And what he's doing is he's basically reading his own works, but he's also using it as a checksum for his own writing projects. So every week when he publishes an episode, there's a status report that he's expected to, or that he has an obligation to update people on, to say, I wrote this many words, this many pages on this particular story with an ETA of this time. And that's his contract with his audience. But at the same time, he's also reading chapters from, books and short stories that he's written. And I thought, I've listened to maybe like 6 episodes, and I thought, damn it, I like that format. So it's been kind of stewing around in my head. I'll see if I can get the rest of the motivation I need to do it, and if I can get the content base that I'm looking for. Because I don't have it. I love to write. I'm just not as prolific as some people.
So what about the rest of you guys? I mean, get the opportunity. I don't know. We've just got a couple more moments. I mean, if I had a chance to be on stage with all of you guys, I would. I'd be a lot quieter because I'd be shy as hell. I honest to God, I would be shy as hell. At least after, at least for the first 4 beers.
Okay, well, we'll see how it goes in May, dude.
It's just going to be 2 of us. It'll be the Holy Crap Canadian connection.
That's right. That's right. Because I always say we have 2.5 Canadians.
Yeah,
when he gets here, anyway.
Oh man! If Joseph ever showed up at one of the cons with the rest of us, I would be floored.
Oh, screw that noise, man. We'll just Skype him in sometime. That'll work.
Yeah.
We get him and Chris on there.
Excellent. Well, yeah, I mean, Alberta's gonna be kind of medium to small, so it'll be good. It'll be a good sort of wet your feet kind of event.
Yeah. Well, I did Shift to Reason a couple of years ago.
Yes. You didn't seem to like it very much, though.
I enjoyed it. I mean, my biggest problem with it is that I didn't know anybody.
Right.
There was no real familiarity there.
Well, this time I know at least 2 or 3 people, and I don't know, I can talk to anybody, so you will know people by the time we leave.
Actually, chances are, if it's the crowd I think it is, I actually might know a few people there too.
Good.
One of the guys, it's one of the ringleaders at CFI who used to do the, who helped bring George Robin, who helped bring Dr. Peter Boghossian in, and these other speakers.
Right.
He was part of the Calgary podcast crew back in the day, so I used to have beer with him every month. So
there you go. Well, see, Ali and Alishba will be there, and I know them quite well. So
always wanted to meet Ali.
Oh well, we will do that. We will.
I hope he brings some CDs because I want to buy them.
Books, you mean?
This is Ali Rizvi, right?
Yes.
Deadshire?
Oh, I don't think they have any CDs.
Oh man.
I don't think. I'll ask him. Yeah. For sure, because his music is phenomenal, but he's not with the band. He's there to speak. So
yeah, I played. I played "You Make It Hard for a Few People," and
the reaction. I love that song.
The reaction I got from the audience was, "What in the hell is this?"
That, my friend, is progressive rock.
Yeah. This is what happens when a liberated Muslim cuts loose.
Hell yeah. Better believe it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and-
Oh man, you have to see his brother Zamir sometime. his his brother Zamir is actually pursuing recording out in LA.
Oh, cool.
He's got more of a pop sound, but when they performed in Kitchener, Zamir was with him. Yeah, Zamir dressed up like Mary, like in drag, and proceeded to fake give birth to Jesus on stage.
Oh wow.
I think there was a few beers involved with that, but
You think?
I want tickets to that show.
it was fucking hilarious. Oh my god.
Sounds like it.
And I mean, it was like this ridiculous blonde wig and, you know, a fake mini skirt, and he was stuffed with pillows and all of that. And yeah.
The makings of a fursuit right there, man.
Mhm.
Absolutely. But I am positive Ali will have copies of his book with him, and I'm
Cool.
sure you can get a signed book as well.
Awesome.
Yeah, for sure.
Joe, I know that the chances of us all being able to get together for, you know, this kind of thing is pretty minimal, but if we were all lucky enough, what would you want to have happen?
You're asking the wrong guy the wrong question.
Okay, what should the right question be after you're unmuted? No, you're still
His-
muted for some reason. I mean,
It's his microphone playing tricks on the system again.
yeah, there you are.
Lovely.
So what should the right question be?
Like I said, when I get friends to spend time, I just enjoy myself. I don't look for anything.
So there's no should involved. It's just whatever happens is good.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
Well, I would like to go have, you know, a beer or, well, not really. I'm not that much of a beer drinker, but, you know, go have a beer with people and talk to them and make new friends. And
Yeah.
the thing about cons is, you know, especially if you know, go to a couple a year, you see the same people pretty much at the cons over and over again, and you do make friends.
I believe
And
it.
it's like seeing family, you know, when you go back.
Well, there's a
And-
couple from Sarnia, which is part of Ontario for you American folk, who I have seen at ReasonCon, NanoCon, and Reason Rally, but never met in Canada.
Funny, I'm actually doing work in Sarnia right now.
Oh,
Remotely, but yeah.
Thank you. I was getting word there.
I was gonna say, if you're in Sarnia, you better get your ass over here for dinner, mister.
It's a little early for dinner.
Mid-April.
Well, this week.
Just a heads up, mid-April.
Yes.
Possibly actually Hamilton for a couple of days.
Okay, then that's 40 minutes.
Yeah, that's basically next door.
Yes. Yes.
see what I can
So, okay. My husband makes really good fire meat.
That's barbecue for everybody.
Ah,
Yes.
yes. Thanks. And yeah, just before we finish off with this though, Brigid, the idea of I'm sorry. I'm believe it or not actually having a little bit of a difficult moment. The chance that we were able to all get together. You, me, Tiny Trib, Heretic Woman, and that was privilege. That was something that otherwise, without this medium, without this show, we would never have known each other. We would never have met. And, you know, kind of going back to the overarching piece, had you not asked and damned near demanded, and I don't say that jokingly, it is actually not far off from the actual truth. we would never have met.
Mm-hmm.
All of us with you would never have met. So
Mhm.
to that end, I'm glad that we have this, because you're one of those people that, otherwise we wouldn't have speaking, we wouldn't be supporting. And that's in a way kind of like the template to what this whole thing has been since we got kicked in the ass by Cash. So I guess in a way, I think that's kind of what I think, knowing that perspective from me on this whole damn thing, I think that one of the things that you would love to have would be to keep paying that hole forward with, if we ever got the chance together to record a set all together. No?
Yeah, I mean, it was great to meet you and meet Deb a couple of times and
Yeah,
I need to plan a trip to come up there, and visit everybody. I need to do
Mhm.
that.
Although we'll probably catch you in the summer.
Yeah,
by the
you'll
sound
catch
of
me
it.
down here, but I need to go up that way and
Yes.
see you and Shujin and Beth, and
Yes. Yes.
I would like to meet Dalan. It will happen someday.
If when you find out sort of the ifs and whens of the trip, maybe I'll find my way out there.
Okay.
in some city or another. We'll see. I mean, I'm not as
Yeah.
mobile as I used to be, just now that I'm saddled with a mortgage instead of rent. But
Yeah.
the prices went up a little bit. But I can still at least try to get east at least once a year.
Yeah. If she can get up sort of Ontario way, that's sort of semi-central.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's my plans. As soon as I have vacation time and money.
Go to
So,
go to Toronto.
go to Toronto. Yeah, we have to go to the bovine sex club.
Yeah, to the bovine. Oh yeah, it's very tiny actually, but it's a sight to behold for sure. I mean, not very many places have a rusty udder for their sign.
That's a mental image that I think that we can just go ahead and just end it on right there.
I got nothing.
Rusty udders, people. Rusty udders.
That's yes. The next studio album coming from Aerosmith.
Yeah, Rusty udder.
Goes right alongside.
See, I was thinking, I could do my radio voice here. Good night, good luck, and rusty udders. Next Friday is gonna be good.
Oh shit!
I will.
No.
I'll tell you what I was thinking about after we get done with the whole damn thing. So, thank you everybody for being with us as always. We hope that you had yourselves a great time, and I hope you got your tetanus update boosters. I guess at this point, I don't even know what the hell to do with this whole thing. We hope that you had an enjoyable time trying to think through all this stuff and found something worthwhile in all of our perspectives. And yes, I'm kind of meandering my way through this because I don't know. I really don't know. Thank you guys for being with us. Joe, thank you for your time, man. You have yourself a restful rest of your morning, and you try to stay warm down there, huh?
I highly doubt it.
Yeah, well, look,
Try.
Worst case scenario, we can always put you in touch with somebody who's knows about spontaneous human combustion. How's that?
There you go.
Remember, set a man on fire and he stays warm for the rest of his life.
Look, I've seen what a WP grenade can do. Nobody likes Willie Pete. No. For those of you that don't know what he's talking about, yeah, just don't go looking stuff up. Yeah, just it was bad enough for Colonel Potter. It's bad enough for us. Brigid is also familiar with Willie Pete.
Oh yeah.
Yes. And speaking of whom, thanks for being with us tonight, hon. You have yourself a great morning, and you know what you need to do.
I need to plug the things. You can find me on Facebook. Send me a friend request, Brigid Fitch, or you can go read my blog at brigidfitch2112.wordpress.com.
Glad that you had yourself a great time. You did you wear ear protection or did you?
I did not.
Uh-oh.
So let's see.
I think the
Oh,
tinnitus is only temporary.
Well,
Yeah.
actually, Styx didn't have the sound up at ridiculously loud levels, which was great. So it wasn't distorted or anything. It was actually, yeah.
Excellent.
oh,
Well, good on that.
Yeah.
Heretic Woman.
yes.
Oh my God, we got to stop crossing over the border across from each other like this.
I know, it's terrible.
But I'm glad you had yourself a great time. Welcome home.
Thank you. Thank you. It was quite fantastic. So this week, Beyond the Trailer Park, we are talking to Karen Gorder-Garst, who is the editor originally of the book Women Beyond Belief, and her new book, which is called Women versus Religion, The Case Against Faith and for Freedom, which again is going to be select essays by atheist and secular women. So we're going to talk to Karen about the new book. And of course, you can find us on Monday nights at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. And we'll probably babble a bit about our trip then too, because the three of us in a hotel room on Friday night, you don't want to know what time we went to sleep before the conference. Yeah, I actually tried to stay up, but then I went and had a bath, and that wasn't a good idea.
All over.
So yeah, well, I did the old, I'm just gonna lay on the bed in my robe and read my phone for half an hour. That didn't work so good, but I think I got an hour and a half sleep, something like that. But yeah, so we'll probably yap about that a bit too, because honestly, like, I thought we were gonna talk all night. I really did. And of course, you can catch me on Full Quranic at fullquranic.com, where I read the Quran because I read the Quran so you don't have to. Blah, 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 blah.
That's doing good.
I try, you know.
I read the Quran. It doesn't work well.
No.
I'll work on that for
Not
another
so
time. And Dalan, of course, thank you very much for all of what you do. And just because I can get away with it. Yes, all homo, fresh homo.
Oh, no, you gotta see. I have a picture of a carton here of 2% from a few years ago. It was a specific brand that they were trying a new filtering on, and there was a little ribbon printed on the carton that it says "Tastes like homo."
That's awful.
With that lead in, hi, Dalan.
In case people are wondering, though, that's short for homogenized.
Yes.
Yeah. However, if the brand of milk was called Fabulous, I'd be kind of wondering. But
no, actually, the one I've got is it's actually the PC. See, it's got the little PC logo.
Yeah.
It does. I wonder if there's a brand of hot chocolate that's flamin' homo.
We'll come up with that later. Dalan, thank you very much for all of what you do occasionally and keeping everything like not broken.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, speaking of which, I'm in the middle of updating the audio version of this at holycrapthevlogcast.com. Hopefully, it'll be all up to date by tomorrow. Ran into a bit of a snag, which we have to talk about off the air. Yeah, don't worry. Nothing serious. Well, we'll see. And if I'm ever sort of feeling that I need to say something that really can't say on this show or any other place, you can catch that over at inthewind.yo5.ca.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. And I guess we'll be talking briefly after we get done over here.
That's serious.
Yeah, now I'm worried because I didn't know jack squat about. Thanks, just lance this right at the very end of it all. Thanks, appreciate that. Now you're looking at this stuff on the screen. That's
Just
great.
look very, very closely.
194, 195, 196. Oops.
Yeah.
Oh, shh.
Now, this is something I can fix it in post. I will try. Just might have to do a little fancy footwork with the words on the website, but we'll see.
Well, the funny part of it is, okay, for those of you that are listening and don't know what the hell's going on, Dalan showed me the screen of the Holy Crap page over on YouTube, and his search bar says "A Song of Salt and Poo." Okay, whatever. Anyway, so episode 194, there goes the judge. Episode 195, social anxiety. Episode 196, what is it good for? Episode 196, could you repeat the question?
Well,
damn.
you did sort of repeat it.
I did.
Could you repeat the episode number, please?
I have no idea if that was intentional. I doubt it. I highly doubt it.
Easy fix. Just go in and edit each one in sequence, and you'll be fine.
It's
yeah, but the trouble is, episode 200 on YouTube is the big one.
No.
But technically, it was episode 201.
Well,
and technically, this is episode 205.
Oops.
Oops. Don't mess with us.
Look.
Just fix it and don't say anything.
Let me see what I can do. I'll work on it in post, and I'll let you know what I come up with.
Shit.
By the way, this is a first. My pussy here actually voluntarily came up here to say hello. Yeah.
So those of you that are listening, you should stop over at episode 204, a little over 200, and just keep watching the videos. You'll find it eventually.
Wait, doesn't this work though? Because we skipped last week. Didn't that even it out somehow?
That sound you heard was my brain breaking.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. Sadly, damn it. Great. So not only did I jake it all up, I did exactly what CogDis does every once in a while.
I was going to say they never know. They never know what episode.
I don't even have a PHP script to go off of. I've got a text file that I update. God damn it. Well, you know what? Screw it. We'll figure it out later.
Mm-hmm.
We'll figure it out later. Anyway, in the meantime, if you'd like to go ahead and yell and scream at me for this one, we do have a voice line. You can leave a message. Phone number for that is 859-HCTV 554 859-4288-554. I was teasing Jake for Wharton. 450 episodes, Jake, and you still don't know how to do your opening or your closing. Over 200 episodes, I still don't have the phone number memorized. I just can't. I can't do it. Just the way that it is. Of course, as Dalan mentioned, holycrapthevlogcast.com. All of the social media links that you need are from over there. And if you'd like to subscribe to the audio podcast, use the link over on the left-hand side. Please remember, don't click on the words. Click on the little orange radio signal icon, because that's the way it works. WordPress is weird that way. It's whatever. It's WordPress. Not our fault. It's not our fault. That one's not our fault. The numbering is my fault. I'll take that one. So all of you that, you know what, all of you that have been donating on Patreon, just hold off a week on that one, and everything will be fine. Nobody's donating over Patreon. It doesn't matter. Yes, we do have Patreon, but whatever the hell. If you want to, patreon.com/HCTV. And item last. I told the guys, I told Dalan and Joe what I did to the head of security this year, where I kind of got him good. I got him good. I made him say with a smile, willingly, "Yes, Shujin, you had my Dragon Balls numbered." There's a long story that goes along with that one. I will save it for another day, perhaps, or better yet, you can go find my my Twitter account for Shujin Dribble and kind of read through the thread for that. I've already decided how I'm going to get even with him next year. Canadian contingent?
Yes.
Yes.
Are Canadian pennies worth anything / legal
No.
tender currently?
No. No.
But American pennies are still legal tender.
Yep.
There is a woo penalty at FurCon up here. Every time someone starts a howl a la Zootopia, it's a $3.50 fine. They run around with a little automated ticker tape machine that will print out an infraction and hand it to you if you do it. All I have to do is say, here's my payment right here. 1 roll, 2 rolls, 3 rolls. I will pay him in American pennies because it's legal tender money, but he's going to have to go through several steps in order to get it done.
I don't think it can actually. Yeah, he'd have to have a lot of it before he could sell it back. Like when we were coming home, there's a gas station in Salamanca that we always like to stop in, and I bought they also make homemade pizza, so I bought a slice of pizza and left them all of my pennies because I'm like, I can't use these at home. So
no, but I was just thinking, you're only 2 hours away from the border tops.
yeah,
You could always come across
I
and
think-
get converted at the border.
if they had, a buck or two, they could probably sell it to the bank as American tender, like exchange it for Canadian money, but they'd have to have enough to make it at least a Canadian dollar. So
I don't think that would be terribly difficult because the infraction cost is $3.50.
okay, there you go.
And $3.50 American, well, that'll easily make up for the difference. I think maybe could be.
Kind of
Anyway,
mean, but it works.
I'm sorry. Have you met me?
Yes, a few times.
I'm an asshole. No, I'm sorry. DJ rule number 0 is the DJ is a dick. I am
Okay.
still a dick. Trust me, anybody who knows me will say, yeah, it kind of is. It's worth it. At least I'm honest. That's the important part. We got to get out of here because, yeah, I think I've just gone and just completely derailed all this shit. So,
Yeah.
we will be looking forward to seeing you guys next week. Yes, we have every intention of being on next week. For those of you, I just realized
Yes.
next week is April 1st.
And it's also Zombie Day.
Yeah, it is. Okay. I have no intention of doing any kind of pull a fast one on anyone because it's April Fool's Day.
Shit.
No. I both hands completely.
Okay.
I have no intention. I will not pull a fast one on anyone for a topic or anything like that. That's not
Okay.
my thing. I will not do that. You have, I will say this the way that I normally would. You have my word. I will not do that. With that in mind, topic-wise, knowing full well that we're coming up on Easter, I think I've got a pretty good idea as to what we can talk about. And it's one of the things that got me started down this road where I ended up pissing people off left, right, and center on Facebook.
Mm.
Yeah, we'll do that. So in the meantime, you all take good care of yourselves. If you are not going to be joining us because you have family obligations and whatnot, that you have to be away somewhere, safe travels. Do have a good weekend. Do enjoy your holidays. And for those of you that are going to be away from school, please don't piss off your parents. Tiny Trib, please don't piss off your dad. Please don't do that. Really like that a lot. But otherwise, we will see you soon. As always, I wish you the peace I no longer have. I wish you the strength that I've learned. Wish you well. And as always, 12 plus years on, I am still in love with you. Not today, Fujin. I love you. I miss you. Dream of me. Until the next time we get together, everyone, as always, good night.